The three key elements of a prudent investment are liquidity, safety, and rate of return, in that order. In order to eliminate the dangers of taxes, inflation, and market volatility, I've always taught people that you must maintain liquid assets safely earning returns. It spells the acronym LASER, laser focus. So whenever I want to reposition serious cash, and I would consider money that I'm setting aside for my future retirement or my children or grandchildren to be serious cash, I want it to pass number one, the liquidity test. Number two, safety test. Number three, rate of return. Now, if there are some tax-favored benefits, that's like icing on the cake, and I like to have my cake and eat it too. So I like all of the above. Let's make sure we understand liquidity. That's the ability to access your money when you need it, okay, with an electronic funds transfer or a phone call. Safety of principal means something deeper to me. To be able to protect the principal, what I set aside, so it is not subject to loss, but any year that I make money, I want that to become newly protected principal, not subject to loss again. That's a different definition than most financial advisors give. And number three is to be able to earn predictable rates of return that historically have beaten inflation and that are tax-free. That's my preference. So, in all of my educational materials for years, I have a risk-return paradigm that you're seeing here on the screen. And what I did years ago is I ranked 16 general categories of investments from highest risk to lowest risk. Now, when you go through these, there are many that don't even pass the liquidity test. This many don't pass the liquidity test. You can't get your money quick enough when you need it. When we apply the second test, safety of principal, this many more fail that test. Well, when we apply the rate of return test, you've got to earn a rate of return greater than the cost of the funds or greater than the inflation rate at the time. This many more do not pass the rate of return test. Well, we're left with only three survivors, okay? Number 10, which would be maybe a very small handful of mutual funds. Now, I used to have a Series 1 securities license. I let it go in 1982. Best thing I ever did. I had over 3,000 clients in the market trying to earn an average of 12%. But I realized, what are we trying to get 12% average for? It's like playing red light, green light. Simon says when you're a kid trying to take 12 steps forward. But someday I realized you're going to have to take 4 steps back in taxes. Even at a tax-deferred IRA, another step back in fees. You had to earn 12 to net 7. Why do you want to do that? So I changed my thinking. And for 40 years, I only have to take 9 steps forward, 1 step back to net 8% tax-free. And so I got out of that volatility. The other two vehicles that pass liquidity, safety, and rate of return would be some annuities. That's number 15, and number 12, which is my favorite. Now, those are offered by the multi-trillion-dollar insurance industry, and you're going to learn that this is where banks and major corporations put their Tier 1 assets for liquidity, safety, and to earn predictable rates of return. An annuity is good. You can defer money in an annuity, but when you take it out, now it is taxable and it's tax liable. Annuities are good for some situations. But in this course, I'm going to talk about my favorite vehicle, a max-funded, tax-advantaged insurance contract. That's number 12. Why is it my favorite? Because when it's structured correctly and funded properly, it is the only vehicle I'm aware of in the Internal Revenue Code that accumulates your money tax-free, allows you to access that money totally tax-free, including the gains, and when you die, it just doesn't transfer tax-free, it blossoms. It sometimes doubles, triples, and transfers income tax-free, and it can be estate tax-free. No other vehicle does that, but here's the key. It must be structured correctly and funded properly in order to accomplish that goal. And so the secrets are found in the Internal Revenue Code, Section 72E, 7702, 101A, where your money accumulates tax-free under 72E. You can access it tax-free if you do it correctly under 7702, and when you die, it blossoms and transfers tax-free. I'm going to teach you about the Tax Equity Fiscal Responsibility Act, the Deficit Reduction Act, and the Technical and Miscellaneous Revenue Act. These are 3 tax citations that when you adhere to them, because we're experts on this, it is the most incredible way to be able to accumulate, access, and transfer money totally tax-free.